We don't do this for everyone, by the way. We don't just like go in and just deliver as much pain as we can in one session. This is special treatment.
Don't I feel privileged?
This all doesn't feel as bad, but it's more around the front, isn't it? As we get into kind of here. This guy's gonna bend my flipping metal bar.
Yo, can we tell them why I'm going through this much pain though? You know what I mean? Why is it, man? You tell me.
Why is it so sore or what?
Why am I going through what I'm going through now? Why are you doing what you're doing to me?
The training that you're doing is loading these tissues so much, and these areas specifically, like when we're talking about your lateral hip, and this is not just for yourself, obviously, as someone who's pushing yourself physically to those limits, but a lot of people, when you sit down, what you're doing is effectively you're folding that tissue and you're shortening the tissue. So it's sitting in a shortened position for prolonged periods of time, and your body adapts to what you do. So the more you're sitting in that shortened position, the more you're encouraging that tissue to be short.
So I'm traveling a lot.
Yeah, because you're traveling a lot. But you might think, yeah, but I'm physically active, I'm doing all of this training and everything. But you have to think about it. When you contract tissue, right, what are you doing? You're shortening it, right? So you're taking, even when you're training and you're squatting and you're doing all the plyometrics or whatever you're doing, you're taking muscle from a long position and you're condensing it. So you're spending all day training, and then you're traveling from one place to another, and then you're training again, and then you're sitting down, and then you're recording or you're doing whatever you're doing, and you're putting it back into a shortened position. So there's not many places in your schedule where you're actually working on extending and stretching out that tissue. So what's going to happen? It's just going to build into tightness and tightness and tightness. And what happens when tissue gets tight? Blood doesn't flow through as well as it would with other areas. So you'll get lactic acid that build up, you get basically like metabolic waste which starts to collect in those areas, and they start to feel sore, they start to feel achy, the tissue doesn't feel good. Feedback from your brain as well. So you start getting all of these things where you start collecting all of the junk, if you want to put it. And when we do the dry cupping in your hip, you'll see it, because we'll literally lift up all of that tissue and we'll flush it out, and you'll see how it feels after. You'll feel like it feels literally like refreshed, yeah, right? But you've got a lot of like obviously we work everywhere, and you've got a lot of tightness in different parts of your body, because you're training and stuff, which you would expect. But that is a focused area, and that's not just for you. Like I said, anyone who sits down, who's in an office job or desk-based, whatever you're doing when you're sitting down for long periods of time, and even when you're standing on your feet a lot of times as well, you're contracting those muscles because you have to use your lateral hip to do that.
Stabilize.
So to stabilize. So it's a very common area. So that stretch you actually showed earlier, and you were like, that's the only thing that cuts it, right? You said when I do this, yeah, and I go like that, yeah, that's what's literally opening that up. So you're good because you're intuitive to your body. So you know what to do because it feels right. Yeah, so you feel it, but not everyone has that kind of, how can you say, that just kind of body-mind connection. Yeah, not everyone has that kind of feedback. And that's why I always say to a lot of people, come and have maintenance treatment, check yourself out, because there's some things which you might not clock are happening in your body. And then people say, oh, well, it didn't hurt until you pressed on it. That's when it felt super sore. And it was like, yeah, but there's a reason why it's hypersensitizing. We're helping your body recognize, or helping you recognize what needs to be worked into. Yeah. So yeah, that's why you're in pain. But the pain is a good thing, because it gives it's like your body signaling that this needs work. Yeah. It's like the light going on your dashboard. It's your body communicating with you.
Do you know what it is? I'm a nightmare as well, yeah. That's why I can't rest. You know what you're saying about mind-body connection?
Yeah.
And I don't let things...
Straighten this one.
I don't let things slip, bro.
Yeah, bend this one a little bit.
I'm always like moving and trying to... Wait a minute, man. Do you know what it is?
It tickles as well, yeah?
That's not pain. Yeah. I can sit in pain. It's just, I don't know how to get that far.
All right. Okay, breathe.